Hello, my name is Kenny, and today I'm going to be reviewing the documentary The Complete History of My Sexual Failures. This documentary was directed by and stars an independent filmmaker by the name of Chris White. Now, it's kind of strange talking about this movie because it kicks itself into many different gears, so it's almost like you're talking about different movies. At first, it's very, kind of serious and subtle and nuanced, and it seems fairly straightforward, from a documentarian perspective. He explains that the whole premise of this movie is that Chris White is a failed romantic. He just got dumped by his latest girlfriend, and every girlfriend he's ever had dumped him at one point, and his sexual life is lackluster, to say the least. He sets out to make a documentary about why that is. He makes a list of all of his girlfriends, and then how he interacts with these girlfriends you'll see in the film. But, it's very interesting how they react to him at first, and how his friends and his family kind of incorporate themselves into the story. You know what I mean? It's interesting to see how it plays out. It's definitely one of those kind of documentaries where the documentarian did not know, or he didn't know where it was going to be, where it was going to end, or how he knew he was going to be finished, or any of that stuff, or what was going to happen along the way. And like I said before, it starts out very straightforward, serious. He sits down in front of a camera, talks about his problems, and then he goes to try and call his girlfriends, and then I would say at about the halfway point, it starts to go into a bit of a comedy slash parody of itself almost. Some very strange, I'm not going to ruin anything, but some very strange things happen, some very comedic things happen that really have nothing to do with his sexual life per se, but it is interesting to watch. I mean, the film is entirely interesting from start to finish, and I was never bored while watching it, And the parts, even though it left kind of its documentarian roots, it was still funny to watch. It wasn't one of those movies where you're like, God damn it, this thing needs to fucking end. You're not funny. This is not funny to watch, you know what I mean? Like me, I'm not funny to watch. The camera work was very well done in this, it wasn't particularly shaky cam. Even though there are funny parts and parts that, are a bit silly, it does pull a bit of a dramatic punch, you know what I mean? It pulls at your heartstrings, maybe not as well as it would have liked you to, but you definitely feel for these people. That's the thing I love about documentaries, is they deal with real people and real issues, and it really goes into why he had unsuccessful previous relationships. At first he seems kind of like a weird guy, kind of almost dumb, just kind of like very grungy looking, But as the film progresses, he doesn't so much change as we learn to adapt to who he is as a person. You know what I mean? And the film does that really well. It has great character development, even though it's not character, it's a real person, but it has great character development in the sense that by the end we feel like we know this person. I wanted to look up this guy's name, see what else he's done in filmmaking, and it does that really well. You really feel for this guy. And even though, some things in the story don't really go the way he wanted it to, or some things go completely out of the way he wanted to, it's really a good example of what personal documentaries kind of should be like. Not in the sense of the comedy, or even the parody, or the straight up stunts that he pulls throughout the thing, but in the sense that we all have to atone for our sins, and one of the most important thing about any story is that the characters learn something, and that it moves at a strong pace, and by the end there's a certain morality that builds. Yes, this guy has made mistakes, and he pays for that. It shows that he pays for those past mistakes that he's made, but in the seeds that he's planted throughout the course of this documentary, some fruit has grown in his life. His life has become better from having made the documentary. And I think that's true about all artists. By the end, with anything you do in art, by the end of whatever project you're working on, you have become a better person at the end of it for having done that one thing, just as you become a better person from having met certain people. This film really shows that, life isn't as tragic as it would at first appear. So in all, this documentary is about an hour and a half long. It was very funny. At times it went a little too far, but what comedy doesn't at one point, you're just like, wow, that was way too fucking far of a joke. Calm down there, buddy. Calm down. You know what I mean? It had those moments, but it also had the very enlightening moments. So yeah, I would give this my seal of approval. You know, I mean, go and watch it. You know, don't expect anything too much out of it, but do enjoy this guy's journey, and maybe it has something to do with your own journey. You know, maybe you'll find yourself in some of the stuff that he goes through, perhaps. But anyways, yeah, my name was Kenny. My name was Kenny, as if I died throughout the fucking making of this. My name is Kenny. Thank you very much for watching this video. And if you don't like it, then you can suck my fucking dick. Right there.